color blindness. Can you see the number in this circle? If you can't, you might have just been hit with a permanent debuff called color blindness. I'm just messing with you. Here's the real test. You can see it now, right? At first glance, color blindness seems like an obvious nerf. It's kinda important to see colors sometimes. But this debuff comes with a hidden skill boost. Colorblind players get +2 perception and pattern recognition, meaning they can see through camouflage way better than those with normal vision. While most players rely on color-based illusions, colorblind vision cuts through the noise and spots things others miss. And in a heavily populated PvP server like Earth, that's actually a solid perk. During World War II, the US military figured this out and started recruiting colorblind spotters to detect hidden enemies in disguised bunkers. One example is a famous infantry captain who rolled severe colorblindness at birth. At first, his nerf status almost disqualified him from joining the military. But when they put him on recon missions, they noticed he could easily pick out hidden threats that normal eyes couldn't see. Suddenly, his color vision debuff was actually useful, and what he initially thought was a debuff turned out to be a buff. Short height. Almost everybody these days thinks the best meta is to dump all their skill points into height. Some players even try to hack the game with limb lengthening surgery, a risky mod to their character after creation. And yeah, I get it. The short debuff can be brutal, especially in the lovemaking quests. And don't get me started on the endgame content that is store shelves. But don't worry, shorter players have faster reaction times, take fewer injuries from falls, and statistically reach a higher level before dying. There are plenty of great class roles for you as well. In sports like gymnastics, race car driving, and wrestling, being short isn't just good, it's meta. Simone Biles, standing at 4 feet 8 inches, dumped all her height skill points into balance and agility, making her one of the greatest gymnasts of all time. Yuki Tsunoda, at 5 feet 3 inches, sacrificed length but gained elite vehicle control and weight distribution, perfect for Formula 1 racing. Rey Mysterio, coming in at 5 feet 6 inches, has insane agility and unlocked high-flying wrestling combos. Compared to you, they're probably quite short, but despite their debuff, they'll accomplish more than you ever will. So short kings and queens, you're not nerfed. You're just built like a high-speed, low-hitbox character. Left-handedness. There is about a 10% chance that you are left-handed, and you might think that's a bad thing. You have probably been smudging ink when you write or struggled with simple tools. Since you belong to the minority, the world isn't built for you. But because of this, lefties develop stronger neural connections between brain hemispheres, making them better at adapting, thinking creatively, and processing information faster. You're basically playing life on easy mode, with a permanent XP boost in problem solving and multitasking. And if you ever step into certain sports like boxing, baseball, or football, it will feel like you've unlocked a rare, overpowered skill tree. Babe Ruth smashed 714 home runs, most of them with his left hand. Manny Pacquiao won 62 out of 71 fights, mostly with a left-handed knockout. 83% of Messi's 697 goals came from his left foot. Because it's rare, your enemies just don't know how to defend against it. You might struggle with scissors, but when it comes to real-world PvP, you're the final boss. Heavy sleeper. If you've ever slept through an alarm, a fire drill, or an entire day, congratulations, you've unlocked the heavy sleeper debuff. It seems like a huge nerf. You miss exams, get easily pranked, and you'll always miss those late nights sneaking out with your party. But it's not all bad. Heavy sleepers tend to spend more time in deep sleep, the phase where real recovery kicks in. With a higher arousal threshold, they're less likely to get knocked out of it by random noises, twitchy pets, or the neighbor's 6 a.m. lawnmower. That uninterrupted deep sleep is what restores your hit points. Some well-rested buffs you can get from deep sleep include muscle mending, heals and rebuilds muscle tissue. Immunity reinforcement, boosts your body's defenses like a passive shield. Memory autosave, locks in new skills and experiences while you sleep. But the brain gets the biggest XP boost. While you're offline, it activates the glymphatic system, a built-in cleanup crew that clears out junk files and mental clutter, freeing up space for sharper focus and faster thinking when you're back online. And the only way to acquire the well-rested buff is to, well, actually rest. Hypermobility. Ever bent your fingers way further than they should go? If so, you might be afflicted with the hypermobility debuff. It's a frustrating debuff. Your joints act like loose hinges, random pain kicks in if you stay still too long, and a sudden movement might just dislocate something important. But this debuff comes with some surprisingly powerful buffs as well. Okay, maybe fitting through a toilet seat isn't the most impressive move, but injury resistance, reduced risk of broken bones, and joints that move like they've bypassed physics. Turn this debuff into a high utility build. In the right scenario, hypermobility becomes straight up overpowered. Take Rubber Boy for example, a fully maxed out mobility pure who has unlocked some extremely unique and powerful abilities. If the developers ever release a worldwide hide-and-seek server, he'd be rank 1. So yeah, while your joints might freak people out, just know you're playing life on adaptive difficulty. Big nose. So you've got a big schnauzer. Maybe you've been bullied for it, maybe you've considered plastic surgery, or maybe you've just accepted that sunglasses will never fit you right. Yeah, I won't lie. The big nose debuff has serious drawbacks and it's staring you in the face every day. But here's what most players don't know. A bigger nose can mean better airflow, stronger endurance, and enhanced breathing capacity. Many elite runners, fighters, and athletes have larger noses, which helps them take in more oxygen per breath and perform better under high-intensity conditions. And this isn't just some random bonus trait, this goes all the way back to Neanderthals. Neanderthals had massive protruding noses, and researchers found that their nasal structure allowed them to move huge amounts of air through their lungs. Not only that, but their noses were specifically built to warm and humidify cold, dry air, making it easier to breathe in harsh environments. And guess what? That same evolutionary advantage is still with us today. So while a society might have nerfed you in the beauty department, evolution gave you a buff where it actually matters. You're not just breathing, you're powering up. Overheating. What's that smell? Is that you? Are you sweating? If you start sweating just thinking about summer, congrats. You've rolled the overheating debuff. It might feel like a useless debuff, but sweating is actually just a built-in high-performance cooling system. In fact, elite endurance athletes train to sweat more because it helps them run longer without overheating. With regular training or heat exposure, your sweat glands evolve, growing larger and upgrading their output like built-in cooling mods. Humans evolved to be the best long-distance runners in nature, and guess what? The best runners are the ones who sweat the most efficiently. So while everyone else is slowing down in the heat, your body is running an advanced, self-cooling upgrade. Maybe don't mention it to the ladies. Lactose intolerance. So you can't handle dairy. Congratulations. You've rolled the lactose intolerance debuff. At first, it seems like a major debuff. Cheese betrays you, milkshakes are your mortal enemy, and eating ice cream is basically playing Russian roulette with your stomach. But this isn't a nerf, it's the default human setting. Most mammals stop producing lactase after infancy. Your body was never meant to process dairy as an endgame player, but thousands of years ago some humans got a mutation that let them digest milk forever. This wasn't normal, it was basically a paid expansion pack that helped certain farming societies farm XP through dairy. Milk became a reliable, high-protein consumable in parts of Europe and Africa, giving those players a nutrition boost that helped them survive and level up faster. So if you can't handle dairy, you're actually running on the original unpatched version of human DNA. And this can actually be considered a buff. Lactose-intolerant players tend to have healthier gut microbiomes because they rely on more fiber-rich non-dairy foods. Many studies even suggest that they have lower risks of attracting certain digestive diseases compared to the milk drinkers. So while others are out here chugging milk and rolling the dice, you're sticking to the OG survival build. You're not broken, you're just running the base game. Do you have any of these debuffs? Let me know in the comments. Bye.